Like I said, I just got them. They're very comfortable. Like I said, you can definitely feel a little more support right around here and on the ankle. I don't know, take that for what it's worth. You know, it may be great for some people, and some people might like the wider toe on the Alpine Stars, but I think they're both a great boot. But obviously this is supposed to be the premier boot, and then this is kind of the midline on the Alpine Stars. As far as backpack, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Klein, Klein, I'm not sure. But I've had this for quite some time and it's filthy, and so I do apologize about that. But it's a pretty good backpack. It's got a little tool set in here. It's got a place to put goggles. It's got another place up on the top that opens up a little bit where you can put stuff in there. And so the nice thing about it is it comes around to the front. It's got a little padding on the back, so it's easy on the back. But then it fastens right across the chest. And so it kind of holds it in place. I used to use just regular backpacks that, you know, you would get for like kids or sports or stuff like that. And the problem that you run into with that is that they just, the straps want to kind of fall off your shoulders if you go over a jump or, you know, something of that nature. So it was, you know, just a little different. I started doing a little research, and a lot of people like that type of backpack there. So I'm going to just briefly just kind of talk about the bikes that I have. If you guys are a first-time viewer, thanks for watching. This is my 2022 YZ450F, and I have all my suspension work, I say most of it, done by M9 Suspension. It's Darren Mees over there in Redmond, Oregon, him and Corey. They do phenomenal work. Got the Yoshimura RS12. Other than that, everything is pretty stock. Now I do have the full set there. It's the stainless steel, it's not the titanium. Titanium and off-road, they say, is not the greatest. The biggest reason, yes, it is a little bit lighter, but the stainless steel is a little more durable as far as dent resistant. I did put a kickstand on there. But other than that, it's just a stock 450. The biggest reason that I went to the 450F instead of a 450FX is because with the 450F, you have a semi-close ratio transmission, and I like that in the woods. Funny thing is that you think it would be the other way around. The FX model has a wide ratio transmission, so it's a lower first gear, lower second gear, third is equal, and then fourth and fifth is a little bit taller than what it would be in this. I had a 19 FX, and that's what kind of made me want to go to the F model. So I did that. This is my 2022, or excuse me, yeah, it's 22 KTM 250XC TPI. The TPI, now I had a 2019 carbureted version, but the TPI was a little mellow on the bottom, and so I started doing a little research, and in that, you know, I found out about TSP, which is two-stroke performance. So they have a performance kit, and so this is what I've done. The performance kit, number one, remaps the ignition, so it gives you, because it's fuel injected and oil injected, it gives you a little more oil on the lower RPMs and a little more oil up top. So it still burns really clean, but you definitely see a little more oil coming out with this new performance kit. So it's kind of a durability reason, number one. But number two, when they remap it, and then they also have a head that they recommend. And so you can go low, mid, or high compression head. I went with the high compression head because of the elevations that I ride at. You know, if you haven't heard before, for every 1,000 feet of elevation, they say you lose about 3% in performance or energy. So anyway, going to the high compression head, or right up around 5,000 feet quite often, and really makes a difference. So I noticed that the bike spools up quicker. It lugs a lot better, and I'm sure that has to do with the high compression head. It probably runs a lot more like a 300 when you're, you know, lugging in the tight technical stuff, but it still screams, you know, like they did before. So I love that. FMF, we have to ride in the woods, and so with the Turbine Core 2.1, you know, it is certified to ride in the woods. This one, I actually did a spring fork conversion. So I put in what they call Dalsagio spheres. If you've not heard about them, it's something you may want to research. They're a little spendy, but what they do is they I think it's an Italian company. I got mine set up from Into Dirt down in California, and Brian and the gang down there set them up. This is the second bike that I put them on. Oh no, sorry, third. Excuse me. So I was able to take these cartridges out and move them into 3 different bikes. And so obviously I just swapped out the forks. They're already set up, but I had them revalved again recently. I wanted a little more hold up for a little more jumps and stuff. So they did a great job with that. But other than that, I did go to W wheel set. They're the Edge wheels. They're not the high dollar wheels, but they're actually, I think, better than what the factory wheels that come on them. One of the things that I've noticed is that these have the Bulldog spokes and nipples, and they're extremely strong. If you guys have ever looked at a KTM wheel, the factory wheel has a tapered spoke, and they can actually break pretty easy, and then also the KTM spokes back off really easy, so you're having to constantly retighten them. And so I've double checked these several times, but I tightened them up a couple times after our first couple of rides, and they haven't backed off since. So it's a great spoke. Here, FCP motor mounts. So one of the things that I've noticed with the KTMs is that when you're leaning over in the corner, sometimes the bike doesn't want to stand back up. And I've noticed that on a couple of occasions, and in fact several times I nearly ended up having an accident. So if you're back too far on the bike, so let's say you're coming into a corner and you're hard on the brakes and you kind of slide your weight back just to give yourself a little more traction. If you go to try to lean it over right then, it doesn't want to lean over. So by going to the FCP motor mounts, I think that they're billet aluminum, and then you also have a titanium bolt right here. So it gives you better front end traction, but yet it allows it to lay over a little bit easier. And I also have that on my 450. And it's amazing how much of a difference those motor mounts and the titanium mounts up front make when you're out riding. Like I said, better front end traction allows it to lean over a little bit better, and it's a much better handling bike with those on there. I always go with the ASV unbreakable levers. Got the quick dial for the adjustments on them. And other than that, everything else is pretty standard. Did go to a gold ring chain or a gold O-ring chain. And then, of course, this bike already came with it. So thank you guys for hanging with me. I know this has probably been kind of a long video. Hopefully answered most of your questions. If you have any additional questions that I haven't answered yet, feel free to send me a comment. Take the time to like and subscribe. I'm out riding all the time. I do a lot of videos about Tundra, and so a lot of my followers from that, but I also have followers that not only like the Tundra but also ride themselves, and it's kind of a win-win. So I'm always I try to ride almost every week. So thanks again for watching, and like I said, take the time to like and subscribe.